What's going on, everyone? It's Luciano from Four Wheelin' Jeeps. Felt I wanted to take a few minutes, kind of catch you up what exactly I've been up to. The Tarantula build was finished May of last year, so it's coming up on a year. I know my build videos didn't really give much conclusion to the build, and I wanted to eventually kind of do a full walk around video. But that's to come. Today I really just wanted to go over what's been going on in the past year and what's to come for 2020. Okay, so first thing I want to do is give a shout out to my buddy Tom. He did an amazing job with this build, and I'm super excited, extremely happy with it so far. So as you guys may know, we did a 7-inch front stretch, and then we had to basically do a whole custom front half frame. Along with the rear, we had to do a custom rear half as well. We did a fuel cell that was sunken into the tub, put Dana 60s under it, 40s and Atlas, ORIs, ton of work. Moving the steering box was very difficult. I did have a PSC steering box that was ported for hydro assist, and trying to make that work without having to spend money for a brand new box, what we ended up doing was kind of reversing the rotation and kind of tucking it up in there. And I'll give you guys kind of a tour of the whole thing at some point, but just wanted to kind of let you know that I've wheeled it 3 times since May of last year. We had our maiden voyage at Rausch Creek in May. We had another trip with Eastern Four-Wheelers that they call Florida Vacation. That was, I believe, in July. And then in November, there was another run that I did in Connecticut, which was a ton of fun, that you'll see my video Chutes and Ladders. So those are really the 3 times that I've wheeled it. And kind of what I've noticed is off-road, it does amazing. The flex is great, and it climbed some amazingly steep obstacles, which I was super proud in. The one thing that kind of kept me off more trails was after this build was done with the Dana 60s now, my axles are super wide, so I had to sell my trailer. It would no longer fit on there. Been looking at the PJ buggy hauler for a while now, still haven't acquired it. Was planning to kind of drive my Jeep around on the road. It is still street legal, but was having issues with emissions. I had to check engine light because my speedometer wasn't working, and it was throwing an engine code. So for months and months, I was kind of chasing electrical gremlins to try and figure out what the issue was to get my speedometer to work again, so that way I could pass emissions and renew my registration. And we had to ended up buying a new computer, had multiple people looking at it. Ultimately, we finally figured out that it was the speedo gear was kind of shot. Got a new one, had to do some rewiring, and finally it was worked. And that was just recently, a couple months ago, we got my emissions passed, and it's finally street legal again. And lo and behold, right as I'm kind of planning, the 2020 wheeling season, this whole coronavirus hits, and everyone's in quarantine. So what I've been up to lately is really just trying to get the rig ready, so as soon as kind of the quarantine is over, we could do some wheeling. The one thing that I noticed driving on the street was that the ORIs were very stiff, no matter the different pressures that I tried with them. I noticed just in general, it didn't seem like they rode equally, the pressures as well. So we had to kind of make some adjustments. After I played around with the lower chamber pressures, upper chamber pressures, I really wasn't getting the desired ride out of them that I really wanted. I felt that, they kind of needed a rebuild. The shafts were quite sticky. That's what she said. And it just wasn't right. So I ended up giving Jensen Brothers a call. They're out in Utah. The guy Kurt over there really knows his stuff. and Kurt, something like that. I forget now. So I shipped him off to him. He's going to be doing a complete rebuild. That's kind of why you see this thing looks like it's slammed right now. There's no ORIs in them right now. They're kind of out in Utah getting rebuilt. In addition to that, just kind of doing some other odds and ends with the Jeep. But as soon as I get the ORIs back, I'm really hoping to, get some good wheeling in once everything kind of gets behind us. Other than that, I mean, to kind of recap, I have a 79 Ford Dana 60 in the front, 538 gears, Eaton E-Locker, PSC, Hydro Assists, crane knuckles, 35 spline inners and outers, and let's see, and the Artec truss as well. It's a 3-link that Tom did for me and did an amazing job. Everything is great in the front. The rear was kind of a major pain in the ass. Didn't really know exactly what year Dana 60 it was. Tried to bore out the spindles to accept 35 spline. And typical spindles, it has like a little lip. And then the rest is kind of wider further in. This particular Dana 60, the spindles were that diameter the entire length. So the boring out would have taken a year. It was just taking way too long. So naturally, with Tom's help, we just cut off the spindles, bought some new ones from Rust Stuff, installed those. Also an Eaton E-Locker in the back, 538s as well. We have the 4-link, same 4-link setup that I've had for years. We just kind of extended some of the arms a little bit, just a tiny bit. We had to get a new drive shaft, obviously, running 1350 U-joints. Went with Tom Wood's drive shafts. They've been fantastic. And then the Atlas, got a 5-to-1 Atlas transfer case. I have a 6-speed manual in here, and I love driving manuals, so it's a ton of fun. What I'd say is kind of once I still have a lot of little odds and ends to do. Mounting, like a little mount for the fuse box. We have kind of the inner fender liners that we want to mess around with. I want to mount kind of a back seat for my kids to fit inside. Let's see, a bunch of other tiny little things before it's complete, I guess, if you ever would call it that. But looking forward to it. Hope to see, hope to be on the trail soon. Take more videos, and look forward to sharing that with you guys. So until next time, you take care.